Hello, hello, everybody. I hope that you are, if you're in the US, that you had a phenomenal Memorial Day weekend. I certainly did. And it has just been a crazy busy time. I have had multiple trips. It was over about a 10-day period. I went and did a kind of like a women's mastermind retreat with a couple of friends and colleagues of mine who are all successful female entrepreneurs. Went to Oregon for that across the country, then went to Toronto the next weekend for a VIP coaching day. And I actually have one of my very best friends and actually one of my full-time employees, my community manager, Hannah. She is visiting from the UK for 2 weeks. We are in the middle of her visit here. And if you can hear in my voice, I have also had a cold for about a week. So it's like everything all at once. And what I am extraordinarily excited about is actually what is happening this week, which is going to be the first weekend of June, which is that I have about 30 of my incredible mastermind clients coming here to Asheville, North Carolina for a 3-day retreat. And it's going to be phenomenal. We are talking mindset, strategy, and fun. And it is going to be just out of this world. So definitely stay tuned for pictures and lessons and all of that good stuff. And I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you all about today. And I came up with this topic that is something I talk about a lot, but in different ways. So I talk about this a lot, like in depth and in technical terms, and like get really hyper specific around packaging and pricing services with my clients, and from everything from like how to actually do that and what your pricing should be, and how to pitch it and how to sell that offer and how to present the pricing and like how to handle objections and talk through all things really around selling your program. And I know that I've talked many times on this podcast before about signature offers and things like that. But I want to just kind of take it from a different angle because I think that this is really important. So, we are here today to talk about lucrative packaging and pricing for online coaching services. Now, when I first got into the health and fitness business, actually a little bit after, because I wasn't originally setting my own prices at first, it was more set by the gyms and things like that that I worked for. But when I first opened my boot camp, I ended up, I knew that I didn't know what I was doing when it comes to building a business. And I've mentioned this before. So, about 6 months before I opened my boot camp, I actually bought into a coaching program that was specifically for fitness businesses. And they taught us the basics of marketing and selling, but also packaging and pricing our services. And it was a huge eye opener for me because when I was working for Equinox and when I was doing more corporate fitness, and even when I was working with like clients privately in their home, all I had ever seen, I don't even want to say been taught because I don't think anyone actually taught me, but all I had ever seen was really that dollars for hours model where you are selling 4 packs or 12 packs or 24 packs or whatever of your services. And, of course, the more sessions people commit to, the lower the price of each session, like that whole kind of thing, which is really that typical, like that old packaging and pricing model for coaching services, right? And what that is it's basically a dollars for hours trap. It's one of those things that requires you are physically present in front of someone or a group of people in order for you to make money. And there's really only a couple of different ways to scale that model, right? One could be hiring people to deliver services for you, which of course cuts deeply into your profit margins, or it could be obviously moving to a group training format, which can be great, but it can also be challenging or limiting as well based on a variety of circumstances. And one of the things that I love the most about online coaching services with this whole signature offer model that I'll talk about today is that that is no longer a thing. There is no more dollars for hours trap. And that trap sucks to be in, right? Because you can really never get ahead in that way. And it's always like, I remember it was kind of like the same thing as when I used to wait tables in my earlier days in my college and my grad school years, and even when I was teaching, because I wanted to make money. So I had to wait tables. And it was always one of those things where it's like, whether you're doing personal training or some type of coaching where it's dollars for hours or waiting tables, it's like, I just remember thinking when I would like go on vacation or something like that, or take some time off, or if I got sick, it was always like terrible because I was not only not making the money because I couldn't show up to work, but I was also like dipping into my savings or whatever, because I then had to pay for the thing, the vacation or whatever. And I don't want to live my life that way anymore. I don't want to live my life in a way where I only get paid for the hours that I show up and work. I want to get paid for my work regardless. And that is 100% available to all of us. Many of my clients, well, I'll say all of my clients are doing that, right? Because this is the model that I teach. So again, when it comes to thinking about, okay, how do I get out of this dollars for hours thing? And also, how can I scale? Now, I mentioned when it comes to like in-person services, right? You could go to group versus one-to-one with a brick and mortar operation. You could hire people to work for you. I don't love those options just simply because of the availability of the world that we live in today, especially if you want to be online. And there are a lot of ways to scale online businesses, regardless of how many people you want to work with at once, whether you want to have a $1 million a year one-to-one coaching model with no employees, you can do that. Or you might want to have, a $250,000 annual paycheck and you want to do that with group coaching, right? Like there's so many different ways to scale these programs. And what I think is the most important first thing to remember when you're creating a program is this concept of the signature offer. Now, I want you to think of the signature offer as a complete program. It's a complete transformation that your soulmate client desires. So it's a specific program for a specific type of person with a specific problem they want to resolve or desire they want to achieve of a specific duration, right? So my signature program, I'm sure I've mentioned it on the podcast before, is called my Authentic Conversion Marketing Intensive. And that is a 16-week coaching program designed to help online coaches start, build, and scale toward their first $10,000 month, pound month, whatever you are, whatever currency you have, but it's designed to help you do that organically, right? So again, it's a 16-week coaching program. There's the specific duration designed to help online coaches, specifically who it's for, start, build, and scale to their first 10K month organically. And that is the desired result or the transformation that they get from going through that program. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a signature offer. It's selling a complete program. It's not selling sessions. And I know sometimes we go low cost with things, or we put things into little sessions or like 3 packs or whatever, because we think that's going to be easier for us to sell, or, more likely for someone to buy. And I'm here to tell you that is simply just not the truth. It's just not the truth. I have seen it over and over and over again. And so I think when we don't sell complete packages like signature programs in our coaching businesses, number one, I think a lot of people just don't have the awareness, right? Like they don't even know what to create. Just like I didn't know how to package and price my services in my boot camp before I got support with this coaching program I bought. Thank God too, because I'm convinced I would have been out of business within a year or less if I hadn't, because my ideas that I was rolling into that with were not good, and I learned that. So around packaging and pricing specifically. So part of it's just the awareness. And then I think part of it is like the fear or the story that so many people have that people won't buy higher ticket, or they, don't want to commit to things long-term. And those are just lies that we tell ourselves. It is not true. And I've had so many people come to me and be like, no, it is like people don't buy anything long-term from me, or people won't spend that much with me. It's like, no, it's not true. They won't do that because you believe that they won't do that. I've seen it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Okay. So that's kind of the first thing, is just to kind of keep that signature offer in mind. And just remember, when you're selling complete programs rather than sessions, right, you're actually transforming people's lives. You're not just like hanging out with them for a few hours and letting them pick your brain, which is often what those sessions can feel like. And no one gets real results. Think about, just use like personal training as an example. Let's say you're in fitness. If someone buys a 3-pack of sessions from you, what is that transformation? That's just ridiculous. That's like 3 workouts, right? It's the same thing. If someone was going to hire me for business coaching, just like 3 random sessions, no, we've got to have a complete solution. Okay. And, I will just caveat that by saying there might be a specific reason for it, right? Maybe you sell a VIP day, or maybe, it's part of your funnel to have like an initial paid session or something. That's a little bit different. But I think so many people don't have the right type of offers in their system because they literally don't know what to do, or they are afraid that, doing it kind of the way that I'm describing, like people wouldn't buy from them and that kind of thing. Okay. So if there's a specific reason to put it in your process or in your funnel, fine. But for most of you, that's not going to be the case. Okay. Now, when you're creating these signature offers, the most important thing to remember is that we want that higher value price point. Now, the minimum I usually have my clients do is around $350 per client per month. I recommend these programs typically be like anywhere from 10 to 16 weeks. So if your program was, let's say 12 weeks, your program price would be approximately 1,000 or so. And if it was 16 weeks, then it would be a little bit more, maybe like 13, 14, 1,500. Now that's the minimum pricing. And that's for the total, not per month. So let's say you have a 12-week program and you're going to sell it for $1,000 or 1,000 pounds. That's your minimum starting point. It will go up from there. I have many clients who start there and then end up between $2,000, $3,000 for their program, and they sell it with zero issue. They sell it with the same amount of ease as they sold it for $1,000 with, which at one point they often didn't think they could sell anything for $1,000. Okay. So if that's coming up for you, I'm just saying this again because it's so common. It is simply not true. It's having the right offer with the right messaging and the right marketing strategy that allows you to do that, as well as understanding how to talk about your offer and pitch and present your offer and sell your offer. Like, of course, there's a lot of pieces that go into this, but these are all things everyone is going to be required to learn regardless. So I just want to take that away from you. If you're like, no one's going to buy a 12-week program for $1,000 for me, not true. Okay. They won't if you don't believe it. And they won't if you don't have the right offer with, again, the messaging and the marketing, the sales and all that. But this is the starting point. Okay. So just keep that in mind. The pricing is so important. And I always tell my clients, it's really important to have high value pricing for really two reasons. Number one, obviously for the benefit of you and your business. You are not going to make money on a volume based offer. None of us here, including myself, who now I have an audience at the time of this recording of probably 25,000 people. I still don't make money based on volume. Okay. I just don't. Right. And most of us, unless we have massive audiences of hundreds of thousands of people or more, and they are buyers, not just people who like to follow, you will not be able to make money based on volume, right? Which is kind of a lower ticket item, not substantial or consistent money anyway. So it's obviously of benefit to the business. And like, look, if you want to make 100K per year and you have a $2,000 offer, that's 50 clients per year. It's actually not even, because I'll tell you why. But so you can really make substantial money with not a lot of people, which is important for all of us in our business models. And then the other reason that it's important is actually it's to the benefit of the client. Because how many people do you think really get life-changing, long-term transformational results when they watch free YouTube workouts, or when they subscribe to some meal plan service, or when they just listen to someone's podcast for free, right? It's like that we know that the real transformation comes with the details and the context of a coaching program. So think about apps, right? There's a million apps out there. They're $20 a month. How many people truly get that long-term transformation? I know a lot of them have good marketing, but it's going to be a really small percentage. And when I'm creating offers, the first thing that I'm always thinking about is, what is the transformation that I want people to have? What is the testimonial that I want to be capturing from them at the end of this program? Because it's not like, oh, the workouts were nice and I logged in a few times. Right? It's like, no, I want someone's entire life to be changed, and I want it to be changed forever after they've worked with me. Right? I've got a client. Hopefully she listens to this. Her name's Tabitha. And we were just going back and forth. And I was like, I need to interview you for the podcast because she's so amazing. She's made tens of thousands of dollars in her initial launch while raising 8 children. Hear that again. Right? And I just like, I know for a fact that these businesses, like all of this is available to all of us. And so I think about people like her. Those are the transformations that I want people to have. Those are the testimonials that I want to be capturing, right? Not like it was all right, the modules were decent, right? Like I want the big transformation. And hopefully you want that for your clients as well. And so when you're charging that higher price point, you're going to get people who are more committed to doing the work. Now, unfortunately, such as human nature, right? It's the game of coaching. Not everyone who's going to come in is going to do the work and get the result. I hate that. That's like my least favorite part about coaching. But you're going to have a lot more people who are highly committed. 80% of your people who come in are going to be very highly committed to doing the work and getting that transformation. So you're going to set them up for more success by having that higher value program as well. So that's really, really important to remember. Okay. It's not just about you, it's about them as well. Now, when we're looking at that, let's say $350 per client per month minimum, I would say most of my clients are probably closer to about a $1,500 program when they start. Thousands, fine, but $1,500, right? So this is so important. Now, people can pay it all up front. It's called a paid in full, or they can make payment plans, doesn't matter. But here's the thing is it takes you out of the dollars for hours trap, because let's say, someone's buying like my coaching program, right? It's a 16-week coaching program, and they are going to pay for that entire program, right? And of course, I have a couple of team members who help me with things, but I'm showing up, I'm doing the coaching, right? But the payment is coming in regardless of how many sessions per week we meet, because here's the program, it's outlined, this is what you're purchasing when you come in to get this desired result. We have the program, we've designed it specifically in a way that creates that result. And no one has the expectation that, like, okay, we've got 3 sessions per week and it's $95 per session and all that, right? It just eliminates that, and it will eliminate that for you as well. Now, because again, people have to commit to the complete package, not to part of it, right? I don't recommend doing like I've had people before where they're like, oh, so and so wants to do the nutrition with me, but they don't want the workouts. And I'm like, well, you can't really guarantee the results without them doing your entire program. So people do need to commit to your entire program, right? People ask me all the time, they're like, well, how much does it cost to work with you for an hour? And I'm like, that's not a useful thing for most people, right? Really high level people, I'll do some like private high end consulting. But for people who are just getting started, that is not a useful thing. They need the complete program and the complete process. And that's going to be the case for, I would say, 99% of the people who inquire about working with you as well. Okay. So I want you to trust that as you create this signature offer, that it holds the solution for your soulmate client. And, a lot of the people that I work with, when they first come in, they're thinking, okay, I want to make like $5,000 or $10,000 in my launch. Well, like, look, if you create a signature program and it's, I don't know, let's just say 1,500, because that's an average price point as well. The thousand's the minimum. The 1,500 is really average. Well, if you sell 4 of those, you've already made over 5K. You've made $6,000. Literally 4 programs sold creates $6,000. Okay. Or if you wanted to get to 10K, what is that? I'm so bad at math in my head. That's like 7 programs to sell. It is not very much. So many of the people in my audience think that it's going to take a lot of clients. It's going to take so many sales. It's going to take all this work in order to get just a couple of sales, right? Like 4 programs to make $6,000. That is not that much, you guys. As long as you have the right offer in place, the right messaging dialed in, you understand how to sell the offer, you understand the marketing strategy behind it. It's actually just not that many people. And I want people to really hear that, because I want them to think to themselves when whether they're thinking about like starting their business or making money or investing in a coaching program like mine, or whatever the case may be, is like, I just want you to realize that it's very doable. All of it's doable. Getting a handful of clients at, a 4-figure plus investment is doable. It's so available to you when you have those right puzzle pieces in place. Okay. And I said earlier that it's, if you were to get, let's say, 50 clients a year at $2,000, that gets you to 100K. Well, that's not even, it would actually get you beyond that, because if you've heard me talk before about my 3-tier coaching system, I actually teach the signature offer creation, which is that tier 2 offer. We teach we teach front end offer creation, which is called your tier 1, which I can take or leave. I don't really care if people have tier 1 offers, but it's just nice to have the option. And then we teach back end offer creation, which is your tier 3, to where people are paying you an additional few $100s a month to continue coaching with you, so that you're retaining your clients for months or years long term, and you have that back end revenue stacking. So even on a low end of like a tier 3 offer, the back end, low end would be about 200 per client per month. And we want to convert 30% of the people from our signature offer into that back end offer. So let's say you enroll, I don't know, 6 people per month into your signature offer. Well, every month, 6 people are graduating, and you're stacking $200 per person on the back end. So that's a whole other conversation. But I just want you to know that making serious money with your online coaching program around packaging and pricing for a signature offer, and then of course having those back end follow-up offers. I teach all of this stuff, you guys, by the way, in my coaching program at nauseum in detail. And we actually give you feedback on all of it. It's a hugely supported process, because it is really important to get this right. But what I want you to kind of take away from listening to today's episode is like just how available this is, how doable it is, how you can go out and you can create this. And this is why I tell people, to build to 6 figures over 3 to 6 months isn't hard. For some people, they do it in 30 days, literally start up to 6 figures in 30 days, the 6-figure run rate. Other people, it might take 9 months or 12 months. But it's like, when you have the right offer at the right packaging, the right pricing that gets the right transformations, and you understand the marketing and sales process behind it all, building this lucrative online coaching business is actually quite easy. It's much easier than building an in-person brick and mortar. And it's just awesome, because again, you're not in dollars for hours, and you're not selling sessions, and you're selling real, true transformations, right? Like I said, This is the very first thing that I do with my clients in my signature offer, my marketing intensive coaching program. We talk about that. We talk about the back end offers, and of course, all things marketing and sales for online coaching businesses. We talk about over 20 different ways for you to get in front of people and to acquire clients, right? And again, we kind of go through that whole process with you. We teach you how to create the signature offer. We audit and review it for you, give you feedback around the content of it, the deliverables, the messaging, all of those different pieces, which are, of course, important. And then again, sell 4 of them, make 6K or 4K or like whatever it is based on your pricing. It's not that hard, you guys. So if you would actually like to learn more about that, I don't know that I've talked about this specifically that much on the podcast, but I talk about it in other places. But if you want to just learn more about this, the Marketing Intensive is the program for coaches who want to make money online and who are not doing so yet, or who aren't doing so consistently, or who aren't really earning more than a few $1,000s or pounds per month. This is for you. So if you want to learn more about it, I would just encourage you to go to authenticconversion.com/private dash application. And you can complete a little application over there, and I will send you lots of follow-up details. Or you can just DM me over on Facebook or Instagram. Happy to connect with you and happy to answer any questions that you have. Because what I know is that getting a successful online coaching program together where it's lucrative, it's sustainable, people love it, they're getting these awesome transformations, it truly does start with the offer. So, and the offer, of course, leads directly into packaging and pricing, and you've got to understand how to do that. It's very few people to make incredible money and totally change people's lives. I love it. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful today. Please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.